All right. Bucket pin, tapered pin removal on a Bobcat 453. Very tricky. There were no videos on it. It's not the same as the other Bobcat machines. So that was very frustrating. So this one's a little different. All right. So to work on it, I'm telling you now, you're going to need heat. So to get heat on it, you got to get the bobtach out of the way. To get the bobtach out of the way, the pins are holding it on. The pins are what you're trying to remove. You got to cut the pins to get the bobtach out of the way. So what I found that worked good for me was a little grinding wheel, 4.5 inch. Got it right up in there, grinded it off, grinded through pretty easy. Now my bobtach's out of the way. I have my 2 pins that I'm dealing with. This pin's regular. This pin's now been cut. So this pin's like that. It's in there. Now here's one of the tricks. The pins, like in some of the videos, they show the pin going all the way through this arm. This one does not. It only sits in that far. Okay? And then there's a little lip over here. And it's deceiving because you're like, is that the pin? Am I supposed to pound that? No, you don't. You got to go all the way in here, get inside this pin to pound it. So what I found to use for that is they say use a bolt. Bolts didn't work. They bent. For me, it didn't work. Then I went to a traditional extension. And what happened with the extension was this got stuck in the threads. So how I had to get that out is I had to hook the extension up to an impact, countered it. You can go clock, doesn't matter. We countered it, stripped it through, pulled it out. It's like, all right, so this is too thin right there. So I went with my new device. So I just cut one off. So I ruined one because this is now a little thicker. This was able to fit right inside here, just about perfect. You can get a little bigger product, but it worked pretty good. So that was my pounding device, okay? And every once in a while this did get stuck, and I'd have to put an impact on it and impact it out. So with that said, so now bobtach's out of the way. I got my pounding device set up. Now I got to get the pins out. So this pin here, I figured I'd start on first. I knew I had to heat it. I tried heating it with a little propane torch. Wasn't working. Wasn't getting nowhere. Very frustrating. Made for a really crappy day. So I started playing around with it because you read all the stuff online. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to hollow it out so it has shrinking room for it to shrink. So this is the one that was broke. It was in there like that. I started hollowing it out, being careful not to go through it. And I hollowed it out, and I pounded it still, heated it still. I was getting nowhere. So I told my buddy, I'm like, listen, I think I got to try one more thing. I got to really heat this up, crazy hot. So he brought me over his torches, which, by the way, I ended up buying. So I got the torches. We heated it up really hot, hot. Dropped the arm down in a 5-gallon bucket of cold water, cooled it off. And sure enough, 1 or 2 pounds, boom, shot out. Obviously very happy. That was good news. So all right, so we got 1 pin out. So at least I know they're not seized in there permanently because I was really starting to get worried because they were not coming out. So we moved over to this side. Now this side was the traditional pin still, the whole normal pin. We heated it up as well and tried to pound it. Was not coming out. So we decided that we're not heating it enough because there's too much material to heat. So he went ahead and took the torch, and he sheared it off, similar to like what we had over here. So he sheared it off. We didn't hone it, we just sheared it. So he sheared it off so it's less to heat, and then he just heated it up. The shearing off, he already heated the bolt up pretty hot, but he just kept it on for a couple more seconds afterwards. Then we dropped that thing in a bucket of water. Same thing, sledgehammer and my little tool that I showed you, boom, popped it out. So got them both out, and that's the way I did it, and it worked for a 2000 Bobcat 453 with the original pins. And again, it was very hard. I wish I would have had a video like this before. Good luck. Hope this helps, guys.